Are you ready for another episode of Book Shade? Of course, I am your host, Amira Blaze. So, guys, this episode, like I always say, is going to be a good one today because I'm finally going to be concluding my bookshelf reorganization project. And I'm reorganizing my bookshelf because I have some new books that I just got recently. And then on top of that, I just wanted a more cohesive way of, making it easier for me to get the books that I want to read so that I can review them, of course, for you guys as the alternative book snobs here on the program. Okay, so before we begin, guys, because what I'm going to be reorganizing today is some of my fantasy book series, some historical fiction, some regular history books as well. I don't have too many of those. And finally, I just started getting some new adult age gap romance books. I have some of those, and then I also have some new adult just regular romance books, and then plus I have this genre that is called dark romance, and I have a subgenre within dark romance, also known as a trope, which is mafia romances. I only have like one book series so far of that. But with that being said, I have to give a couple of disclaimers. Some of the book series that I am going to be showing does have mature content in them. Once you start getting into the wonderful world of like mafia romances, just dark romance in general, some fantasy book series like The Witcher, for example, these books can have very steamy, steamy sex scenes. It can be a lot to take in. So make sure, guys, before purchasing any of these books, if you are interested in them, do some really deep, thorough research, because what works right for me may not work right for you. And to keep it real, dark romance is not going to be for all adult readers. Okay, so for today's episode, I definitely have to put a very, very heavy emphasis on viewer discretion is advised, because some of these books, they definitely can be a little bit higher on the I like to call it the steam factor. Okay, sometimes they call it the heat factor. Okay, but I have to give that disclaimer just so that you're aware of what we're going to be getting into for today's episode. So this is what I decided to do, guys, with this empty bookshelf here. It took me, guys, literally like an hour and a half to get all of these books down. And what I also realized is I had a lot of these books were disorganized, so I had to kind of categorize them. So this is how I'm going to arrange this bookshelf with my dark romances, my regular contemporary romances, as well as fantasy, historical fiction, and all that good stuff. So what we're gonna do first is these two shelves will be for the book series that need to be read. Okay, so this is stuff that I want to read right away, and then up top here is going to be the stuff that I'm going to read later, which is going to be more of my regular contemporary romances. I'll probably read those later because I want to get to the good stuff. Okay, the good, just smutty, dark romances and all that good shit. Okay, but all my messiness aside, guys, I'm not gonna waste any time. Let's get started here. I also have some gothic like romances too and stuff like that, But let me go over some definitions in case if you're not familiar with these particular book genres. Well, I'll mention one specifically. Oh, hey, we have White. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the program. But there is a oh yeah, it has been a while. Cool. So there is a genre, guys, that I read a lot about, you know, I love reading, is what's called new adult. Okay, and there's interchangeable terms. I'm doing pretty well, man. I'm a little bit tired because I was up all like last night, like doing this wonderful stuff here, and I didn't get up like technically until like mid-afternoon, so hopefully this one will go a little bit faster, but I don't see that fucking happening. But getting back into it, of course, new adult, guys, was a book genre that started to emerge around the mid 2000s. Okay, and what started to happen was there were adults that were reading a lot of YA, but YA started to change, and then you started to have book series that were more on the mature side of YA. Okay, so that's what happened. So that's how new adult started to come together. And also there was a publishing company that decided to have a new adult book contest. So that's the other reason of why new adult started to emerge during that time. But what started to happen, unfortunately, is a couple of things. New adult, guys, is defined as books that are designed for college-aged people that are traditionally around the age range of 18 all the way through people in their 30s. So what started to happen was the audience got confused and are like, okay, well, wait a minute. Like, okay, so these books are designed for adults between the ages of 18 to 30. Like, how do you describe that? So it's just college age issues. So for example, you know, your first college love, you know, paying bills, you know, dealing with, you know, complexities in adult friendships and relationships, like stuff like that. But I think what happened with new adult and how it started to kind of die down is that new adult as a book genre started to get associated only with the romance category. So for example, guys, if you were to look up new adult on Amazon, for example, what you would find is majority of those books, for a few exceptions here and there, they are related to the romance genre. So when people think of new adult in modern terms, because it's and there's another reason too, I'll get into it in a moment. Oh my gosh, yes! Hey, we have Honey Ray Reads, guys. And you know what? I was just about to give you a shout out, so I'm gonna do it now, not because you're here, but guys, definitely check out my other alternative booktuber here. Let me make sure I have to. These are the books that I'm reading right now, guys. Honey Ray Reads. Okay, I fucking love her. Please go check out her show, guys. Not only she has like a campy sense of humor, fabulous fashion. I love her, love her outfits. And she's just very straightforward like me. So if you want someone that's like nicer than me, check her out. Like, she fucking rocks, guys. So I will have the link below to her YouTube channel. So yes, definitely check her out. She is a fierce ass bitch on real. Okay, get your life. All right, so getting back into it, my friends. So with new adult, what ended up happening and what kind of caused it to to die down too was not only because of the audience confusion and it being kind of specifically targeted to the romance genre as like a subgenre. The other thing that I noticed, which caused some issues with new adult too, was the actual publishing industry. Because what would happen is that authors who wanted to write, like, okay, I want to write a let's say a fantasy new adult book, what would happen is it would end up getting categorized as mature YA. So that also caused problems because people at the time in that because here's the thing, guys, YA has been around for a very, very long time, but YA really didn't start to really pick up again until the emergence of what's that book series everybody talks about? Harry Potter. Okay, so Harry Potter was really the catalyst that actually is responsible majorly for re-immersing people into YA. But what started to happen too is, like, currently you have series like Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. That's actually categorized as a YA crossover. But see, do you see the confusion, guys? Because you have YA crossover, you have what's called middle grade too. So you have YA, you have middle grade, you have YA crossover, mature YA, also known as new adult. So you can see from an audience perspective, that's what started to kind of cause the problem, because some authors wanted to get onto this new adult kind of wave, but they couldn't because their books would not sell if they didn't put it in just like a YA, like crossover or mature YA. And then some of these books had content that was more designed for for more mature readers. So it made it confusing because there were some people who are like, should I just categorize it as just YA or should I just categorize it as adult? But the story I don't think would relate. So it started to cause those problems. But there was another issue too, guys, and this is something that I started paying attention to when I started to go to bookstores, is that some bookstores have a new adult section, especially during that time when new adult really started picking up traction during the mid 2000s. But what started to happen is there would be some bookstores that would have a specific section for new adult. So you could go and get these, new adult books, and it was awesome. But then there were some bookstores and some publishers that just didn't see the profit as like YA was, regular YA was giving. And at that time, you had Twilight and, Harry Potter and all these other series. So that's where I think new adult also lost its traction, was that bookstores just didn't have room maybe for another subgenre. So sometimes, guys, when you go to bookstores, some bookstores will have a new adult section. Other bookstores will it'll be merged into more of a YA crossover or mature YA section. So you still, authors can still release books as new adult. That's more on new adult, guys. You hear more on the independent publishing side than the mainstream publishing side. And most of the time, like I said, if you go on Amazon, let's say you're into Kindle Unlimited and you just put new adult, it's going to bring up new adult romance. It's going to be one of the search results that's going to come right away. So that's just to kind of explain it, so that way when I'm talking about these books, you're like, what the fuck? But yeah, most of the books that I read are either new adult or just straight in your face steamy ass smut, okay, or some interracial romance and some good shit. So all explanations aside, let's do this shit. So we're gonna start first, guys, with the series that I'm probably going to read later, but I'll still like, I'll put it in the back and then put that good shit that I want in the front. So what we're gonna start off with are these books here. And I also like to read authors that are not like not as popular, or just maybe you may have never heard of them too. So I kind of have a lather of what I like to read. So this one I have not even like looked at it yet, but I really want to read these. This is a trilogy and it's by Libba Bray, and it's called, the first book is A Great and Terrible Beauty. So these are the best way I can describe these books. They are like Victorian like era. Let me see, I think this was the one with the young lady who like she has these like powers or whatever. Okay, yeah, this was the one. So she has like these special powers and she learns like how to control them and all that shit. Oh, and Honey says, we love to see it. Yes. I love paranormal romance. Also, I have never truly heard of New Adult up until very recently. Yeah, New Adult doesn't get talked anymore. Like after the wave of Twilight and Vampire Diaries and all that, it just kind of died down because people were like, oh, well, you know, how do you quantify like books for people between the ages of 18 to 30? I really wish it took off. I think it would have if it wasn't heavily associated with the romance book genre, but don't get it twisted, guys. Romance is in like the top 3 most popular book genres. Right now, it's kind of like a tie. This is just specifically the BookTube. It seems like there's a tie between fantasy and some sci-fi too, but it's mainly fantasy. But romance is like number 3. It's very, very popular. And I also noticed there's well, romance wise, there is a huge re-emergence of like dark romance, like mafia romances, and age gap like romance. Also, it can be known as they call it forbidden romance, because an age gap is considered like forbidden. Like, really? Okay. But yeah, that's really, really popular as well. And they have their own sub like communities within the BookTube community. So I'm learning all of this, guys. It's really interesting. But yeah, this is just a trilogy, so I have this. So this is A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. So I'm gonna put these right here. Then we also have the second book here, Rebel Angels. It's a little bit thicker read, okay, like my hairline. And then we have A Sweet and Far Thing. So if you're into that Victorian realness and the supernatural powers and all that, that's like what I'm into, guys. I like shows like Charmed and all that, so that's my shit. Okay, so what else we got here? So have some more Victorian literature. Okay, so you guys can see I'm just obsessed with like the Victorian era. It was sassy, it was classy, you know, gentlemen with top hats. Yes, God. Okay. And Honey says, I really wish it did it, or I really wish it did too, because I like YA, but I got pretty underwhelmed by high school stories, and I never understood why so many vampire romances happen in high school when college makes more sense. Amen on that. Okay, sister? Like, that's the same, like, I'm gonna do a separate rant and commentary on my issues with sometimes with adults having to navigate through YA, because here on BookTube, excuse me here, guys, but here on BookTube though, YA dominates the space. Okay, like, I mean, like, I was checking out like an article that said that like a good chunk of adults are really into YA, and that's the reason why a lot of publishing companies have been going hard pushing the YA titles. But there's always been a debate, and it's always an unpopular opinion. To me, I don't consider YA a genre anymore in modern time, because YA is fueled like any book genre, but YA specifically has a lot of marketing like philosophies behind it. Because sometimes with a genre, there's the community, there's the fandom and stuff, which is in YA, but YA is very unique to me, because majority of the people who read YA are not the people who fit the demographic for YA. So that's how mature YA came about, and that's also how new adult came about, is because for some of these stories, like for example, Vampire Diaries, I would not categorize Vampire Diaries as just regular YA, because a lot of the themes in Vampire Diaries is not going to relate necessarily to a high school audience. I think personally Vampire Diaries should have been done more in a college setting, because a lot of the issues that the characters deal with are more geared towards an adult audience. And I agree with Honey on that, because a lot of these vampire romances, it's like they're in these like generic high school settings. But there is an exception, guys, and I'll show it to you right now. This is one I was talking about yesterday. This is like my exception. This is Vampire Kisses the Beginning by Ellen Schreiber. And the main protagonist, Raven, is in high school, but she is very mature character development. So this is where YA gets confusing because this is more of like mature YA in my opinion. But this is where YA gets confusing, because you have these kind of hybrid series like this that it still categorized as YA, but I would not give this book to a person that fits the YA, just the standard YA demographic. Like this book deals with a lot of mature themes and just, mature themes in general that I feel that adults would go through. So this is why sometimes YA is problematic for me, because the stuff that people categorize as YA is technically new adult because of the situations that the characters are going through. And then we got, okay, of course, OG, what's up? Okay. I said a case. I must be tired. Okay. But what is up? But let's continue here, my friends. I got another series here. You know that show, Gossip Girl? A couple years ago, everybody was like, oh my gosh, like, Gossip Girl is the shit. People were really into that show. Like, for me, like, my show is Sex and the City. Yes, bitch. Okay? But if you want a Victorian version of Gossip Girl, this is the series, okay? This is known as the Lux series. It's written by Anna Gaberstein. Yeah, I tried, okay? So here's the first book, Splenda. Okay, there's romance, there's betrayal, there's all kinds of crazy shit, but it's great. It's great. So yeah, this one's not 18th century. This one takes place in the 19th century, but it's like Gossip Girl written all over it, bitch. So if you like cunty women, fighting and shit, then this is gonna be for you. But no, it's apparently really good, but I haven't had a chance to fully check it out. Guys, what happens sometimes is I'll just be checking out different book series, and I'd be like, oh, that looks good, ooh, I gotta get that shit. So that's like what happens, and then I end up like right now, this is the series I'm like drooling kind of over, is the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. This series, it's got some steam, but some of these other books, guys, The Steam is on like 11, like, well, for me personally. Okay, good God. But here is the next book. Here we have Envy, and these, and here's the thing, guys, this is very petty, but sometimes I get books because the covers look savage. I'm like, oh, that's savage, but the book could be shit, but I'm like, this looks savage. All right, and of course we have Hallburn. Hey, what's up? And I love this. Good day to you, Superior Goddess. See, I love that. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love being called a goddess, darling. Thank you. And Honey's bringing some good points. See, we're gonna be friends, yo. We gonna be good friends because like we think alike here. This is awesome. All right. And Honey says, like as a vamp, you literally live forever. Yes. Why are you still taking high school geography classes when with the same time and effort you could literally become a doctor or a lawyer or something? See, that's the thing I wonder about Vampire Diaries. You know, like for example with Damien be like, oh, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna live forever. But I'm like, yeah, you can live forever, but at least be productive with your sexy ass. Okay, them abs, hashtag them abs. Okay. And Honey also adds here, 100% agreed about Vampire Diaries. The themes are very intense for high school. Yeah, like, I mean, I would not give that to someone, you know, to read in that age demographic, because it's some tough situations, especially like Bonnie's situation and all the stuff that she has to deal with there. And here's another thing, guys, you cannot compare the books to the TV show. They altered so many things in the TV show that when you read the books, you're like, what? So like, for example, I forgot what the name was in the books, but that's not the actual name of the town. It's completely different in the books than what they used on the television show. Okay? So this is why it's important, guys, for authors to be involved with their television adaptations. Like, for example, you know, it's very hush hush, but apparently J.R. Ward and, you know, TV companies are in the works for a Black Dagger Brotherhood TV series that is definitely going to be juicy. But my concern with her series is it is raunchy. You know, there's some parts in this book series where I'm just like, I don't know if that's okay to put on TV, you know? Maybe on like, you know, European TV, but on like American TV, it's gonna be kind of tough. So if I were her, I would probably want to get this show on like the BBC or some shit like that, you know, because the UK and places like that, they tend to be, and this is nothing against American television, but I notice sometimes with American TV, there's different levels of risque, and I don't think American audiences, to me personally, I don't think some of them would be comfortable with some of the stuff that happens in this series. It's just like how people want Laurel K. Hamilton, her Anita Blake vampire series to be a TV show. It's not going to be able to pass on American television. It would be really tough. I think it would be better on like European television just because of the content. Like those type of shows, they have very strong adult themes, like very steamy, very sexual in some parts. And you cannot put that on like a regular American television show. Yes, there's The Walking Dead and things like that, but those shows are on cable, so they have a little more leeway on certain things. But it's gonna be interesting to see how this TV show is going to unfold if it actually happens. And yeah, I'm having a good day, man. I just, you know, I love sharing books and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a good time, y'all. It's a good time. And Hallburn says the last book I read were The Wave Walkers. It's a German author though, so you probably don't know those books. It sounds familiar, but I haven't fully like heard of it, but it does sound familiar. But yeah, I mean, that's the other thing too. I do like reading books mainly. This is just me. I read a lot of like gothic literature, vampire romance, like that type, paranormal romance. Just recently, y'all got me into the shapeshifter territory. That was an acquired taste for me. But currently I'm reading Marcus by M.A. Gonzalez. Ooh, that's a fun book to read. It's about a vampire going out with a shapeshifter. Interesting. Some very, very interesting stuff going on there. Okay, so got some more in this series. So you have rumors. See, I told you this is a messy ass series. So we got that, and then finally we have the Lux. So, oh no, this is the first book. I'm so off, guys. Okay. So we have that, and and Hallburn's asking, are you African or American by any chance? So here's the thing about being black. It's kind of complicated because, and I can only speak for myself, you have some black people that don't mind being called black because historically black is this homogenized term that is used pretty much for anyone who has like my skin tone, or if you have any type of like cappuccino tone in your skin, you're like black by default. Okay, so some black people, they're like, just call me black. Okay, but then you have this term African American, which is kind of like this hybrid of people who are African descent, but they were born in America. Okay, and then you have another interesting situation for some people is that their parents are African, but then they were born in America, but technically because their parents are African, they want to be called either African or African American, so, and some people like to be referred by their nationality, where they're from. So for me personally, this is just me, I don't like the term black because of the historical ramifications with it. It doesn't bother me, but I don't like it personally because it's kind of like a homogenized term. And then for me, technically, I consider myself more, the best way I would say is, I would say I'm more African American, just because like I'm aware of my heritage and my culture and where I come from. So that's what I prefer to call myself more. But it's very complex with black people because, we all come from different ancestral connections and relations. So that's why black is kind of a complex term for my people, because not every black person you see wants to be called that. So, and no, it's not, you didn't offend me at all, Hallburn. I just like to explain it, because sometimes, unless you've been around like my culture and stuff like that, because overseas and other places like that, it's different, so I like to kind of explain the context of how I represent myself, because some people just don't know. So you didn't offend me at all. I just like to clarify these things, because sometimes when people see someone that's brown, they're like, oh, well, they're all black, and that's not true. We all come from different parts of Africa, and there is a difference too, because there are some African American people that their roots are, there's people who are, for example, that are Creole. There are black people who also they have like indigenous and like ancestry as well. So yeah, that's a whole separate video right there. And Hallburn says, just curious. Well, nothing wrong with that. But yeah, for me, I consider myself more African American just because of my culture. And there is a difference too between people who identify as African, meaning that they are coming from Africa, so they have a completely different experience versus people who consider themselves African American too. So there's a lot of spectrums when it, you know, a lot of black people, you know, we call it the spectrum of blackness, because there is a spectrum, like there is. So that's the best way I can explain it. All right, so let's see what else I got here. Okay, so we got that. All right, so let me get the next one here. My voice starting to crack, like, no. All right, so this series, guys, I checked on Goodreads. This series has some of the worst ratings I've ever fucking seen for a series. But then there are people who really like this series. This is by Kira Cass, and this is called the Selection series. So it's kind of like this competition with princesses and all that shit. So think of like The Bachelorette. Well, no, I would say think of like The Bachelor, but with like princesses. So they're all like fighting for the heart of Prince Maxton. So that's what that is. And oh, look who it is. It is motherfucking Deadpool. Welcome to the program. All right. So this is the first book, which is The Selection. And let's see, where is this gonna go? I think I'll just put it here on the side. All right, next we have here, this is the Elite. So this is pretty much, guys, each book is like narrowing down like the competition until the conclusion. So that's apparently how those ones work, but they're short, so they're really quick reads. Then you have the covers are eleganza. Look at this motherfucking one. She's like, yes, I am that bitch, honey. Okay, so this is the one. See, I'm starting off really light, and then we're just going to like just open, you know, all hell open loose with the dark romance. Okay, so you know, well, I mean, Deadpool, like I said, I'm not gonna get into what happened with yesterday's episode because you were being extra to me. So because like I said, because I'm a forgiving person, I'm gonna let it slide. But if you're coming to my show today to be disrespectful to me again, in all due respect, I will kick you off my show. So I have zero tolerance for what happened yesterday, and I'm not gonna go into it because I don't need to, but I'm just letting you know. And that's okay. You can call me a bitch, you can call me whatever, but if you want to go there, then I can explain what happened yesterday so that people can be aware of what happened. So you can call me whatever you want. One thing is for certain, I'm not a bitch, because that's not how I carry myself. I'm a decent and a nice person. And I'm not going to repeat what you said to me yesterday because it was uncalled for and it was not needed. So moving on from that, guys, apologize for that. Unfortunately, because of me being the type of person that I am, this is what I have to deal with. When you have strong opinions, or when you're standing up for yourself, when someone is saying something rude and disrespectful to you, this is what you have to deal with. You know, now I'm a bitch because I'm standing up for myself. You would do the same thing, okay? But let's move on from that. Okay, let's move on from that. All right, so the next book here in this series, we have The Heir. So if you're into like competitions and like royalty and all that good shit, that apparently this is a good series, but it got such low ratings. But here's the thing, guys, about ratings, you know, and the whole like, you know, 4-star, 5-star, whatever, take it with a grain of salt. because at the end of the day, you have to read book series that you enjoy, and that's what's important, you know. So I just take it with a grain of salt. I just use like reviews as like a guideline to see, you know, are some of the mechanics or the world building or the writing, like, is this something that I'm really going to enjoy, you know? So last book here, this is The Crown. So that's the grand finale, apparently. So that's the only one that I got that is hardcover. And Honey's like, let them know, sis. You already know, bitch. Yes. Okay. I don't put up with disrespect like I used to. Because let me tell you, girl, I get called a gorilla on this program. I got people calling me, if you a man or a woman or what are you? I got people constantly being rude to me, asking me to, like, you know, look a certain way and all this fuck shit. I just told myself that I'm not gonna be rude to them because that's what they want, but I will stand up for myself. You know, I will stand up for myself. I'm not gonna let someone just be like, oh, well, fuck you, bitch. It's like, you know what? If that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. You know, and I'm not gonna go into what happened yesterday because it was mad disrespectful. Okay, I'm going to be who I am. I'm not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. You come to my show, I'm gonna be nice with you and everything, you know, because that's how you supposed to be. But I do let people know when they being rude, and I have no problems kicking people out of my show. So if you're gonna come to my show, as DJ Paulie D proudly put it, okay, if you gonna come, you better come correct. Some Jersey Shore for y'all. And you know, and Honey also continues here saying, people need to save the disrespect, heal themselves instead of dumping that mess onto others. Amen. It just amazes me how people just, I mean, you got better things to do in your day. You know what I'm saying? You got food to eat, you can work out, and then you want to take that energy to come to my show and say like, oh, you know, you being extra. But see, I'm being nice about it. Like, I'm being nice. Like, I'm not even going to bring up because it's just not needed, you know, because I'm trying to have a positive program, you know. But that's the thing. Like, I don't understand sometimes when people want to get mad at me for standing up for myself. And that because I'm a woman, I should just put up with, you know, negativity. And I don't deserve that, you know. And honestly, I feel like if I was a supermodel, like some of these supermodel ladies that do this, I would be getting the opposite reaction. I would be getting, you know, people being like, yeah, you look good. Oh, yeah, you look fine. You popping, blah, 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 blah. But because of the way that I look, or maybe the way that I talk, or I don't even know, the way that I carry myself, then people feel like, oh, she an ugly ass bitch, so I'm going to say what all this bullshit to her. But then if I clap back, then what happens is, oh, you a bitch, fuck you, da da da. But I'm like, you made fun of me. I have to defend myself. You would do the same thing. If someone was calling you busted and ugly, or, you know, or whatever, you would stand up for yourself. So I have no hard feelings for that. What I'm going to do for you, though, is I am going to pray for you that you find happiness wherever it needs to be for you. And that you be happy and you do you, and then I'm gonna do me. Okay, you already know. All right, the library is closed. Okay. All right, let's see what else we got here, y'all. This is what I have to deal with, you know. And I thought that, you know, when you have, like, my show is small, right? I thought, like, okay, you have a smaller show, that you wouldn't have to deal with that. Like, oh, that shit you deal with when you get bigger. I deal with this all the time, y'all. It sucks. But let's keep it pushing. So this is a trilogy, guys. A lot of people don't know this, but Rochelle Mead, who who wrote the Vampire Academy series. She also wrote this series, which is called The Glittering Court. So if you're into like the, you know, the fantasy, the Sarah J Maas, that kind of shit, you may like this. It's a little bit different from that, but yeah, so I got that. So you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna stack this. We're gonna put it here. You know, actually what I'm gonna do, I think this would be smart. Let's move it, part it to the side, and Honey says, period. Okay, when you see my people clapping like that, you know it's about to go down. Okay, when that hairline gets slicked back, okay, it's going down. Okay. And you already know. And Hallburn says, stay as you are, goddess. Well, you know what, thank you, I appreciate that. That is very kind of you. But yeah, guys, I endure so much just to do this show. Okay, I am no big streamer or anything like that, but y'all, I have to deal with some of the nastiest things said to me. This is stuff you would not even say to your own mama. Okay. Oh, like, guys, there are some days where I gotta go bathe in some holy water. Okay. I gotta pray and sit in some holy water and be like, look at this foolishness. Good God. A mess. All right, here's the next book here, guys. This is Midnight Jewel. So it's like the size of a dictionary. It's crazy, but I heard it's good, so that's why I got it too. And then of course this is the newest one, and the conclusion here, this is the Emerald Sea. So I got all three of those. So this is all the tame stuff, guys. We're kind of warming up to the good shit here. All right, what else do I want to put up in here? Well, you know what? I should put... I think I am going to put Outlander, or should I put my... No, you know, actually, I should put my Jane... No. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so next here, guys, let me get these here. Let me tell you guys, like, the older you get, that's like, it takes like a half an hour for me to bend over. Good God. All right, let me let me get these. I was so happy to get these. Oh my gosh. Heavy ass books. Hashtag heavy ass books. Okay, so this series, guys, this came out of nowhere for me to get these. These have been around for some time, but they're so cool. Okay, so this is a Victorian steampunk book series by Gail Carringer. She actually studies like steampunk culture and all that. It's so cool. So this is the first book. This is like her, I like to call it the Less series. So this is Soulless. And I think... How we gonna do this? Oh, excuse me, guys. All right, so I'm gonna, you know, actually, yeah, let's put these up top here. Boom, boom. Okay, we're gonna put these on the side for now, because then I can just put the hardcover and it'll be all good. All right, so next we have Changeless. And I like that the numbers are on the outside, so then you know you don't have to be like, oh, they're in the wrong order. All right, next we have Blameless. We have that. Book 4, Heartless. So these look like they're, you know, quick to read. And then the final one here is Timeless. So then we get to this really interesting series, guys. It's about a young lady who, like, her mom just, you know, she's like, I just don't want to raise you in a way, and she like joins this etiquette school, but that's a cover, because within this etiquette school they're trained to be female Victorian assassins. Fucking epic, guys. I had to get it. I was like, Victorian female assassins? Yes. Okay. So this series is I like to call it's the finishing school series. So here's the first book. This is Etiquette and Espionage, and these covers are to die for. Okay. All right. So we're gonna put that there. Then we have the rest are hardcover. So here is Curtsy and Conspiracies. Curtsies and Conspiracies. All right. Next we have Waistcoats and Weaponry. Look at that fan with like the fucking knives on there and shit. Look at that. That is so sick, guys. Oh my gosh. And then the final book in this finishing school series is the Manners and Mutiny. So yeah, I cannot wait to read these. Oh, they're gonna be so good. All right, next she has another series. This one is it's called the Custard Protocol series. So this is like very steampunk, man. So you have Prudence. It's got some romance, but not like too much from what I read. Then you have Imprudence. I love her covers. She really puts a lot of thought into them. Then you have Computance. Very Victorian right there. She's like, oh, you think this is a regular umbrella, but it is actually not an umbrella. No, I have a very becoming sense of humor, guys. And then this fine ass man, I like me a Victorian gentleman, and that's the final book, which is like Recutance or whatever, with his sexy ass. See, you see all that Victorian white chocolate there? Good God. All right. I'm just waiting for all the hate comments now. People being like, you thirsty ass bitch. You know, that's just how it goes. And Honey says, I've never really read a series, but that Steampunk Assassin series sounds good. Yes, it really does. I saw it and I was like, yoink. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do, yeah, because these are not gonna fit, I'm gonna have to do it like, yeah, we'll do it like that. That makes sense. We're gonna improvise, guys. Improvise. Okay. Or no, this will work. Okay, we'll just do it like that. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Okay, so I can fit some more here. So what we gonna do, we're gonna fit okay, so I just want to kind of keep it with the theme of like Victorian shit. All right, so next okay, so next I think what I'm gonna do is put all of my Jane Austen spin-offs, okay? And oh, come on, Halburn, you're not a loser, man. I'm probably more of a loser than you know, you're not a loser. Like, I'm probably more of a loser, okay? Like, I try to work out, you know, I do adult coloring, I read really smutty romance books. I mean, come on, what kind of guy would want me, okay? like some of the stuff I read, my guy friends are just like, well, damn, you know. So yeah, but yeah, it's just tough. And then, you know what also happens to me too, because like I'm an older streamer, right? Sometimes I get people that are like, I had someone come to my show once, and they were like, aren't you a little bit too old to be doing this? And I'm just like, you know what? Put some moisturizer on your face and read a book and have a nice day. Like, I don't understand. Maybe it's just an American society thing sometimes. It's like, as soon as you start getting older, it's like people just cancel you automatically. It's like, oh, you can't have an imagination, you can't fart anymore, you can't do this, you can't rock climb, you know, you might break a hip. It's absolutely ridiculous. As much as I joke about getting old, though, you know, I'm starting to embrace it now, you know, and maybe this might be the reason why I like older men, because I don't have those type of issues. You know, it's always like the younger guys that always give me shit. You know? And this is not saying that the younger gentlemen out there, not all of you are like this, but damn, I just noticed that sometimes it's like I always have these young gentlemen being like, oh yeah, you look good and all that. But then I'm like, you know, we get into the responsibility conversation and then some of them can't handle that. So that's why I made the conscious decision, you know, and there's always exceptions to the rule, right? But that's why I started to just lean more towards guys that were older than me, because they just, like philosophically, they got me more, you know. They weren't like, you know, like, hey, why are you reading vampire romances? Like, I would get the opposite effect where they're like, oh, okay, I mean, it's not for me, but hey, if that's what makes you happy, that's cool. So you already know. And Albert says, nah, I'm fine with it. But yeah, I get a lot of shit, guys. You know? All right, let's do the damn thing here. And oh, Honey says, literally women in our society are expected to disappear after they turn 30, which is trash, but no one gets too old to explore and be excited about your passions and interests. Let me tell you, a valid point. Like, this is the reason why I started this show to begin with, because I noticed that a lot of adults, like, were, like, not all, but like some of them were just kind of scared to get into things like vampires and stuff like that. Or they just kind of internalized it and kept it to themselves, and I'm like, that's really sad. So I'm just like one of those people that, like, I love sharing my passion and interest and stuff, but it's kind of hard to, you know, to relate sometimes, you know, to people like that, if they don't understand, you know, why you're into these things. But that's why I started my show, because I'm like, there's gotta be adults out here who like this stuff like I do, who like having an imagination. You know, it's like, just because you're getting older, that doesn't mean it's like, well, time to get the grape nuts, like, it's ridiculous. It's like, you know, I mean, I can still dress a little bit sexy for myself or something, you know. Now I can't compete with these younger women out here, good God. I mean, I'll let them carry the torch. You know, they got all this strap here, put this here, you know, with the all that. It's a lot, you know, because once you get older, you start realizing, you're like, you know what? That pump doesn't fit the same way it used to. You know, I might get myself some slide-ons. Let me get some slide-ons. Or it's like, okay, well, you know what? I'll still wear a heel, but I'm going to wear one that's not going to break my neck. Okay, because if I fall, it's gonna take a long time for them paramedics to get there to help me get up. Okay, so you start to think more strategically about these things. You know, you see Lady Gaga wearing all that stuff, don't mind her, because she's got a team that helps her, you know, her ankles to have a six-pack. Okay, good God. All right. But that is true. I feel like once women, you know, even if they get over the age of 40 or something, you know, it's like you're canceled. It's like, you're not sexy anymore. But with men, I mean, you know, they can be 50 and they're like, yeah, do you, bro? You know, the hypocrisy. You know, so that's why I do this show. I encourage, you know, adults to explore their interests and passions and to not have shame. Do not have shame. You do you, bitch. Okay, liveyourbestlife.com. Okay, good God. All right, so let's see what else I want to put here. Should I put my Jane Austen, or should I put, yeah, I'll put my Jane Austen. I'll show you guys my Jane Austen collection. It's fun. It's quite interesting, really. It's my Jane Austen voice right there. But guys, I swear, anytime I be watching, I like watching a lot of like British like history shows and shit like that. And that's like, there's always one character that sounds like that. They're like, Mr. Darcy, how dare you? You know, like, Like, let me get my smelling salts. I'm about to pass out from all of this blasphemy. You know, it's ridiculous. All right, got a lot of spin-offs, my friends. There's so fucking many, but worth it though. Worth it, y'all. All right, get the first half popping. Let's get it popping. All right, got a lot of energy, guys. For some reason, ooh, it is getting hot. I'm telling you, the menopause, guys. Good God. Woo! See, that's the thing. When you fat, it's like you always feel like you're baking biscuits or something. I always feel like I'm baking biscuits. Like, oh, wait, yep, there it is, you know. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. But all right, let's look at these guys. Like I said, I am an avid fan, huge fan of Jane Austen. I love that classical romanticism she has, but her work, guys, is still very progressive even till this day. But what a lot of people don't know is that there is a lot of like cult followings for Jane Austen spin-offs. So before reading these spin-offs, guys, you must read the original Jane Austen works, because some of these spin-offs put you into alternative universes, and it may spoil things in the original series of books or the original story. So there's many different spin-offs, guys. So yesterday I actually showed some Jane Austen horror spin-offs. Like there's Mr. Darcy being a vampire. I have one with Jane Austen turning into a vampire herself, being like a vampire slayer. Like there's some cool shit out there, okay? But these are more traditionally tied as spin-offs to the main Jane Austen works. So here we go. All right. And Honey says, I love those British historical romances. Everything is dramatic and angsty, and it's all about longing. That's me all day. Yeah, that's why I like them too. I like the gentleman, like, you know, kissing the lady's hand and she's all like flustered, or like, you know, he's like, oh, my lady, can I put you in the carriage? And she's like, oh, don't look at my ankles, my love. Oh. You know, like, guys, there was a book that I read where they did it in the carriage, and I was like, oh, I was gagging. I was like, oh my gosh, I would never do it in a carriage. That sounds so how about that carriage door opens? You are fucked, okay? All right, unless you got that Indiana Jones reflex. But let me tell you guys, Harrison Ford, okay? Let me cool myself off. He was so fine. Harrison Ford, he just gives me life. All right, but enough of me, you know, drooling over white men here. Let's look at these spin-offs, okay? So these first spin-offs, guys, is about Darcy's daughters, okay? So, you know, what if Elizabeth and Darcy, you know, they get it on and then they have all these damn kids, okay? So this is actually part of a series that's called Darcy's Daughters. So each one of these books is a spin-off on each one of like Darcy's daughters. So this is Mr. Darcy's Dream. Let's see, how we gonna do this? Okay, I'll just put it, let's see, will this fit? See, I don't want this to, okay, yeah, we'll put it over there. Okay, so then we have the Darcy Connection. And these are all done by Elizabeth Aston. So these look like quick reads, but I'm going to read the original works first before I tap into these. Next, we have the second Mrs. Darcy. That sounds pretty scandalous right there. But guys, we're gonna get more scandalous with the other pile here, okay? So then next we have the Darcy Spirit. Then we have the Exploits and Adventures of Miss Althena Darcy. I'm getting too good with that voice now. All I need is a parasol and a corset. It's ridiculous. And Honey says, not you lusting after Harrison Ford. That's me with Ian Soma Hater. Just Vampire Diaries, just sweating. Yeah, he makes me sweat in more ways than he is lickable. Oh my gosh. Like the first time when I was watching Vampire Diaries and that fine ass white chocolate daddy took his shirt off, I literally did this. I was like, wait, is there a chocolate puddle? Oh Lord. Oh man. Yeah, I have that same issue when I'm trying to check out Twitch on my phone sometime. Like for some reason it'll just be like, nope, not today. It'll stop working, and then all you have to do is like restart your phone and like you go back in, and then for me it seems to work fine. But oh, that man, he makes me moist. There are a lot of men, maybe I'll do a separate episode on that, on like who are like my book boyfriends that like make me moist like that. But Damien is definitely one of them. And yeah, that Ian guy, he should have played Christian Grey. Can you imagine him as Christian Grey? Oh, I would have given those movies a very high rating. Okay, all right. Come on, Hallburn. It's you know, as they say, what's that saying? It's all about the motion in the ocean. Okay. See, as you can see here, guys, like TMI is it's somewhere back there. But all my jokes and messiness aside, let me show you the last book here, guys. And this one is Mr. Darcy's Daughters. So this is the first book that you have to read before all of those. Looking so good. But you know, look, here's the thing, guys. Little side tangent here. There is nothing wrong with being older and being a virgin, okay? Sex is something that you, as an adult, okay? Sex is something that you really have to take your time with, okay? Because sex, of course, I mean, we've all had the birds and the bees conversation, okay? But you know, it's a responsibility, okay? It's something, to me, you know, it's very sacred, it's very intimate, it's very interpersonal, you know, I mean, it's something you have to take seriously. So if you're an older adult and you haven't done it, there's no shame in that. There's none, you know, and there's none, you know. So that's the thing, like, you know, don't feel bad. Like, don't, you know, like you want to do it with the right person. You know, I know there's this pressure, especially for men and for women, where it's like you're getting to a certain age and it's like, hey, you got smashed, you know, and it's like, the fuck no, you know. Okay, I mean, you gotta, when you're sleeping with intimacy, you gotta be smart, okay? Like, I was reading an article, guys, it's scary, but the article was mentioning that within the last couple of years there has been a rapid increase in STDs, okay? And this is not to scare anybody, but it's like, you know, you can't just trust that someone is clean. You know, you gotta make sure the both of you are getting tested and all this shit. And you want to make sure you're sleeping with someone that respects your body. They respect all these things, you know. We kind of live in a culture, and even our pop culture, you know, it's like, if you haven't been with someone, it's like people make fun of you for it. Hey, you let them make fun of it, okay? They can make fun of you, whatever. It's your fucking body and it's your health, okay? So sex is not only just doing it, there's a lot of complexities. And I know men think about it differently sometimes than women, but even for men, there's emotional things and all of that. So you want to make sure you're doing it with someone that respects your body and all that shit, and not just do it to do it. But that's just me personally. Maybe I'm just looking at it from the more classism perspective, but it's like, I'm not gonna be with someone who doesn't respect my body, okay? Like, I'm gonna be stripping in front of you. You gonna be seeing everything the good Lord put on a bitch, okay? So I need you to be a respectable gentleman, okay? Or whatever you're into, because we are LGBTQIA plus accepting on this program. Because to me, love is love. Get your life, okay? And Honey says, absolutely, he is 10 times hotter than the guy that played Christian. Yeah, don't get me wrong, that James, what's his name? James, something. He was all right. You know, I could see it, but he was a little too, like, I don't know. It was something about him. He was more of like a creepy kind of stalker than like the Christian. Because Christian Grey in the books, he's very like cunning. He is all into himself. He is confident, okay? A little too arrogant at times, okay? To the point where it's like not healthy. But I could see Ian playing him more because he knows how to put on that charm and wit, and I would definitely love him doing them BDSM scenes. And here's the thing, guys, like it's so funny how so many people make a big deal out of 50 Shades of Grey, but guys, in regards to the spectrum of BDSM that's out there, that is on the vanilla side, okay? That is on the vanilla side of the spectrum, okay? It really is. It is not that big of a deal, you know, as people make it. I mean, yes, it did help to bring the BDSM culture a little bit more comfortable for people, but there are different spectrums of it. There really is, you know. And you have to remember too, of course, obviously it's Hollywood, so it's going to be exaggerated to the max. But let's check out some more of these Jane Austen spin-offs, bitch, okay? So next here, I have The Passions of Mr. Darcy. You see those eyebrows, darling? You see that face? He's just like, I am going to fuck you. Like, that's like the face he is giving. He's like, I am going to rock your world and the bed will be broken. It's gonna be broken. Like, good God. And Honey says, I just honestly didn't buy it. For me, like, Damien is charming and just has more of a swag and just a dominant persona, which I agree. Like, if he told you to do something, you're gonna do it. Oh, trust me. I mean, if he told me to bathe in the hottest waters, like, I'd be like, okay, where do you want me to splash? You know? Oh my gosh, no. No, I'll have a shower cap on because, you know, I don't get it twisted. My hair would be jacked up, okay? But yeah, that's what this is The Passions of Mr. Darcy. So this is pretty much, let's see here. Oh, this is like if Mr. Darcy became, you know, going to India, being a doctor and all this shit. So this is cool. This is cool. So we gonna put this. Let's put this right here. All right. See, we're doing good, y'all. We're going good. We're doing good. All right. So then next here, I have this one. This one is the Mr. Darcy Falls in Love. So I was like, okay. So this is supposed to be a love triangle with Georgiana Darcy or something like that. So I was like, okay, that looks cool. So let me put this back. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. I know this is kind of boring with me putting books back and talking shit. But I enjoy those books, guys. Like those BDSM romances. Like I'm reading one right now. It's called Temptation. Guys, it like fulfills all of like my like hot like college professor fantasies. Oh. It gets me hot just thinking about it. Let me fan myself before I lose all of my beauty right now. He is so fine. Whew. I was reading it and I was like, I'm gonna like this book. I'm gonna like this book. I'm gonna like this book. There are some books, guys, where it gets so steamy that I literally have to put it down and I'm just like, let me have a moment. You know? Okay, so next here we have The Trouble with Mr. Darcy. So this is a continuation of what happens, like, you know, after Pride and Prejudice. So you must read Pride and Prejudice first before getting into this one. So let's okay, I think this one I'm gonna have to, yeah, I'll put these here. Okay, let me get this in order here. Okay, I'm gonna put this on the side for now till excuse me here, keep dropping shit. All right, so what else we got? So we have here, this is like a series by Sharon Lathan. So this is In the Arms of Mr. Darcy. So these are all like continuing events that happen in Pride and Prejudice, except it's a little more expanded. So I thought that was cool. And let's see here. Then we have My Dearest Mr. Darcy. Oh, and I found out, guys, they do have a very, very steamy version of Pride and Prejudice 2, and I'm trying to find it, but I can't find it. But apparently it is like wow, 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 wow. Okay. And Honey says, I just discovered the Dom subgenre for lesbian vampires. Oh yeah, you said you read a lesbian anthology. I'm gonna be getting into some of those because I heard some of those are pretty good. And I was like, I'm finally home. Yeah, oh, trust me, like once I started reading, like I've been reading a lot of like interracial like BDSM romances too, and I'm like, this is exactly what I like. Okay. And then there's also this subgenre of BDSM romances too that are called the older daddy romances. I have a soft spot for those too. So, you know, it's these college women being with like an older daddy who's like successful and shit. And I've also I'm gonna start reading some of those motorcycle club romances because I've heard those are pretty good. I haven't found the lesbian one yet, but if I find one though, I'm gonna let you know. Okay, I'll let all of y'all know. But yeah, I do read same-sex romances and the LGBT like QIA plus romances. There's one by Casey Luck I need to read too. It's called The Lesbian Millionaires Club, I think is what it's called. It sounded really good. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. So see, we equal opportunity readers, okay, on this program, so you already know. All right, so next here in this series we have Loving Mr. Darcy. So yeah, this is a long series, guys. So if you are really into Pride and Prejudice and you want to see all that extra tea outside of like what happened, people really respect Sharon Lathan, and yeah, she's really well respected in the Jane Austen spinoff community for sure. So we got that one. Can you imagine, guys, like Pride and Prejudice but like 50 Shades of Grey style? That would be very hot. I'm just saying. Okay, so then we have Mr. and Mrs. Fitzwilliam Darcy. So that's another variation right there. So you can see, guys, I really love Jane Austen. Okay, so apparently, guys, this is supposed to be the a little bit more muy caliente Pride and Prejudice spinoff. This one is by Linda Burdow. I think this one, I'm not sure, I might be incorrect, but I believe this is like the R rated. It's a little bit steamier from what I've heard, but I might be wrong. This is Darcy and Elizabeth, and it says Nights and Days at Pemberley. Oh my. All right, so yeah, so yeah, they said that, yeah, this is supposed to be a little bit sexier. So I was like, okay, definitely gonna get that. Okay, so turning up the temperature here. And oh, Girls Who Bite is compiled by Delilah Devon. It's pretty great. Oh, okay, I'll have to check that one out. And we have Mr. Darcy Takes a Wife. You already know, so there you go. So yeah, these ones are supposed to be a little more steamy than usual. Okay, I think I might just put these here on the side. Yeah, these will fit. Yeah, they'll be good. All right, well, let me get some more of these spin-offs, guys, because there's tons. There's a couple. All right, I didn't realize, guys, that there were so many Jane Austen spin-offs, though. It's really crazy, but you know, I had to get them all. Well, no, I probably would never have them all because there's too many, guys. And then that's not even counting all of like the TV shows and movies and all that. And I'll probably review some of those Jane Austen movies and stuff. I think that would be fun to do. All right, so we're getting a little bit sexier here. Well, no, this is tame. This is Darcy's Temptation, and this is another sequel to Pride and Prejudice. This one is by Regina Jeffers, also well respected for spin-offs and shit. So we got that one. This one sounds sexy too. It's like, only Mr. Darcy will do. This is by Cara Louise. So that sounds hot. Okay, so let me put this in proper order. Actually, this is working out better than what I thought. Actually, let me like try to see. I don't want these books to get damaged there. Okay, I gotta like move them just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is actually working out great, guys. We're making progress. Okay. All right, so as you can see, I just have a fetish for Mr. Darcy, but this is Mr. Darcy's diary. So think of Pride and Prejudice, right? But instead of Elizabeth telling the story, it's Mr. Darcy spilling the tea. Okay, so this is very similar to like Grey. So instead of Anastasia, it's Christian Grey giving his perspective, which I highly recommend, guys. Please go get Grey and Darker, but make sure you read the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy first, then get those two. You will be in for a treat of laughter because it is absolutely hilarious how Christian thinks of Anastasia. It hilarious. But that's what this is kind of like. So is Mr. Darcy giving his side finally, right? So I thought that was cool. All right, what else we got here? Okay, so next we have Dear Mr. Darcy. So this is another this time this is a retelling too. This one is done by the same lady who did Mr. Darcy Vampire. So this is by Amanda Grain or whatever. This is Dear Mr. Darcy. All right, so we got that. Okay, so Siri James too is also well known for like her spin-offs and variations. So this is actually like, you know, what if Jane Austen had memoirs or whatever? So in a way, so this is the missing manuscript of Jane Austen. And then we have another Siri James. This one I heard is really good. This is like a love affair of like Jane Austen, like actual Jane Austen, not any of her characters. So this is Jane Austen's first love. So I was like, ooh, that sounds really romantic. I'm such a hopeless romantic, guys. I know it's sad. All right. So then next here we have the Lost Memoirs. So this is the actual like her like memoirs, like her experiences of Jane Austen. So this is by Siri James as well. Okay, perfect. All right, what else we got here? Okay, so this one, guys, is highly respected by Jane Austen enthusiasts as well. This is done by Joan Akin. So this is what she did. Okay, so there's one book that is unfinished in Jane Austen's work, and that one is The Watsons and Emma Watson. So guess what this fine lady did? She completed it, guys. So she took Jane Austen's like work or whatever was left over, and she took the time to study, you know, Jane Austen's writing style and everything, and she completed the book. It's incredible. So I was really fortunate to get this. So this is called The Watsons and Emma Watsons. So yeah, this is her the unfinished books here. Both of these books were unfinished, and she decided to complete it. So I was like, I cannot wait to read these. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. I have to get some Victorian cosplay going on with like my parasol. No, my smelling salts, like, oh. Okay, so finally, guys, this is something I've wanted for a really long time, because like I said, I'm obsessed with Jane Austen. So I got this leather bound edition of her complete works. So you got Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Emma, Persuasion, Mansfield Park, Lady Susan, and Northanger Abbey. So I have it right here, and it even has a bookmark and all that good shit. So, oh, I'm so excited to read this, guys. Oh, yeah, this chapter 56. But you know how I like reading now, guys, is I like to have the audiobook in my earbuds and actually have the physical book and read it. That's how I'm able to remember all the storylines and stuff. But for these, if they don't have an audiobook, I'll just get like the post-it notes or whatever. And then I post like the posted tab notes or whatever, and I just tab it up. Oh god. All right, so very excited. Okay. So let's see here. Okay. That is perfect. Perfect. Okay, so besides my like unhealthy obsession for Jane Austen, not unhealthy at all jokes aside, this is The Secret Diaries of Charlotte Bronte. So this is by Siri James. She writes these really nice like historical like fiction books. So I wanted to get this one. So yeah, I thought that was cool. So that's how it looks like there. So I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. Oh, that fits perfectly, darling. Okay, so what else can I fit here? Actually, oh, sorry guys for yawning. It's been a long motherfucking day. I'm trying to keep with like theme and all that shit. Okay, so I know what to put. All right, guys, I'll be right back. I'm gonna actually get the book and I'll show you. All right, one moment. Ha ha ha. All right, guys. One down, 40,000 more books to go. No, I'm not gonna do that to you guys. Oh my gosh, it is so hot in my room today. I think it's just because of me talking about all this BDSM, like romance and all that. We have a good time on this program, okay? All right, let's continue here, guys. And then what I'll do is I'll take pictures on my Bookstagram, which is at Bookshade #1, so you guys will see how it looks like all completed and stuff. But oh man, I am sweating today. Good God. All right, so next, guys, I wanted to show you this because I'm really interested in like Gothic literature. So I love my Edgar Allan Poe and all that. And the book that I showed before, this book here, Her Dark Curiosity, guys, by Megan Shepherd. Oh my gosh, that is Victorian Gothic realness. It is such a good book. I'm listening to the audiobook right now. Now, for warning, guys, this audiobook is like 12 hours. This is a very thorough book, but it's so good. Oh my gosh, I can't wait till I do my commentary on this book because it is to die for. No pun intended, okay? So, oh my gosh, it's so good. But speaking of Gothic, I have this book here. I got this a while back. This is by Chris Baldick, and this is the Oxford Book of Gothic Tales. So all this is, guys, is just classic like Gothic tales. That's all this is. So I figure, you know, since I have all of my like Victorian Gothic stuff, I was like, that'll fit right there perfectly. I can fit a couple more books in there, but I gotta make sure it's actually, you know what, you know, I'll leave it like that just in case if there's another book I want to put there. But all right, guys, so we started with the more Victorian kind of tame stuff. Now we're going to kick it up a notch. Okay, so what we're gonna be talking about now is just like my general romance stuff and dark romance stuff, and then we're also going to be getting like into the fantasy stuff. So I think I'm gonna do the general romance stuff and then put the you know what, I'll keep the theme. Okay, so next, guys, we're gonna talk about Philippa Gregory. You might be familiar, it's a classic movie, but it's called The Other Bullion Girl. That's how people know her work. But I have her complete books here, so I think that's the next one I'm gonna put, since we're kind of going on this theme of like Victorian and then that. So most of her books too, I believe, are more of the Renaissance period, or it might be well, no, it's more like Tudor kind of period. I think that's what most of her books are like, and some of them are Renaissance too, I believe. But yeah, they're great. So let me get those. Because I knew that was the next book set that I gotta put away. And these have, like, of course, like a historical fiction kind of feel. So I figured to do that one next, because this series of her books are like, it's a massive series. So, oh my gosh. And heavy too. Good God. There we go. Okay. Oh my gosh. Super heavy. All right, so we'll start with this fine pile so it doesn't give me a concussion. All right, so first here, guys, we have this book here. This is from Philippa Gregory. This is The Other Queen. So put that there. Whew, I'm so sorry, guys. Long day. Jeez, lack of sleep. Then we have The Last Tudor. And these are all these books, guys. Some are in order, some are not. I just wanted to make sure I had all the books by author, and then I could just like pick through and just make it easy on myself. Because if I tried to put it in order, I noticed that not all of my books would fit right in the shelf. Then we have here, of course, we've been talking about The Virgin's Lover. So we have that one. Some of these I have with covers, some of them I don't, because in case you guys don't know, I buy most of my books like used. Very rarely, guys, I buy something new because I'm very frugal like that, unless it's on sale. Okay. So then next we have the Queen's Fool. Yeah, I'm glad I'm putting this one up because I know this one is gonna take a lot of space. Oh my gosh. All right. Then next we have the Kingmaker's Daughter. These covers are wonderful. And we also have the White Princess. Then we have the Constant Princess. The King's Curse. All right, let's see if I can fit this other one up here. Then you have the Lady of the Rivers. So yeah, this is more of like two-door kind of time. Yeah, so it's more of their two-door kind of Renaissance. Yeah, that's the correct time period here. Oh, it actually fit, guys. I can't believe that. What? No way. I didn't think it was gonna fit. It did. Okay, cool. All right, so then next here we have the White Queen. So I don't know if I should put them like that or put it. Yeah, I'll put them like that so that way they're all together. Okay. Then next we have the Red Queen. But wait, guys, there's more. All right, let me get them. I can't believe these actually all fit. I was nervous. All right. Okay. Whew. Okay. So this is the one that's based on the movie The Other Bolivian Girl. And apparently it's a really good movie, so maybe after I read the book, then I'll watch the movie. And I'll do a reaction like comparing and all that shit. Then we have Three Sisters, Three Queens. Put this here because this one's a little bit smaller than the others. Then finally here I got two more. I have The Taming of the Queen. I have to get the covers for these eventually. And then I have The Bolivian Inheritance. Got that Elizabethan kind of look right there. So I like that type of time period. So cool. All right. So we got all of those and that fit perfectly. And you know what? Kind of going with the theme, guys. There's a book series that it's considered a romance, but I consider it more of like historical, like time travel. I don't know, it's this very popular book series by Diana Gabaldon, Outlander. I was able to get the books, guys. So excited to read them, but they're so massive. Oh my gosh. Okay. So put these here. So as you can see, guys, I have a diverse book taste. All right. Righty. Okay, so let's start off, of course. I have the box set for the first 4 books in the Outlander series. So it comes in this really nice like box set like this. So I was like, I gotta get it. So it has the first 4 books, which is Outlander, Dragonfly and Amber, Voyager, and Drums of Autumn. So I think, oh no, maybe I should, yeah, I'll put them like that. I'll push them in the back here for now. Okay, so then there's other books in the series here. So you have the Fiery Cross. These are really thick books. And then this is the Written in My Own Heart's Blood. I think this is the last book. I might be wrong, but okay, so there's those. Okay, I think I'll bring these. No, I know what I'm gonna read first. Okay, Outlander. Yeah, I'll probably, yeah, I gotta push these in the back. So that. Okay, cool. And then here are the other books, guys, in the series. So you have A Breath of Snow and Ashes. You also have, this is short stories. So you want to read the main series before reading these. This is just a collection of like short stories in the Outlander universe. So it's 7 Stones to Stand or Fall. This one must be really popular because it was difficult for me to find at the time I got it. So I was really lucky I got it, guys. Let me tell you. And then you have, this is in the main series. This is An Echo in the Bone. So this is like my only like hardcover one. So I'll put this one at the bottom, put these ones on top. Oh, this is working out so great. Okay, cool. Now, in case you didn't know, guys, within the Outlander story, there is a gay character and his name is Lord John. But since it was like during those days, you know, you couldn't come out, so he was closeted. So what I found out is that they actually made a book series just based on Lord John. Okay, so you have here The Scottish Prisoner. And then you have Lord John and the Hand of the Devils. And these also include novellas, I believe, in there as well. Then you have the next book, which is Lord John and the Private Matter. So I'm excited to read these because I'm like, I wonder how it would be like to be gay during like back in the day like that. That had to be interesting. And then this is Lord John and the Brotherhood of the Blade. So it has novellas and all that in there. So yeah, that is so far for me the complete Outlander book so far. And then yeah, so I think what I will do, okay, so next I think what I'm gonna do, because I think that will work out perfectly since these are all like historical, I'm gonna show you guys my historical fiction. See, I'm doing it in the opposite way, but that's fine though, just to do it for like space purposes. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so I'll show you guys my historical fiction stuff. So let me get that. So okay, these are not as heavy. It's not too bad, actually. Okay. Ooh. Sweating. All right, well, I hope you guys are enjoying today's episode, but I wanted to do this so number one, you guys could see like the updated book collection, including some of the new books that I got recently, but also you guys get to see my thought process of how I organize things. So that's why I'm doing it. All right, so now we're gonna get into the historical fiction. All right, so Excuse me, guys. All right, so we're gonna start because I'm gonna put these in the hopefully in the order that I got them, but we'll see. All right, so this guy, I've heard he does pretty good historical fiction. His name is C.J. Gardner. So this is The Queen's Vow. So I'm gonna put that right there. Then after that, I like historical fiction, and I'm so glad that now the booktube community is also starting to like recognize it, because a lot of times people diss historical fiction because they feel like it's making a mockery of history books. But when you really think about it, historical fiction allows like alternative like perspectives and things that normally you would not see in the actual normal history line. So it makes it interesting. The whole point of historical fiction to me is you're taking like real events, but then you're giving that alternative twist to it, which is cool. So then I have this book here, which is The Confessions of Catherine de Medici. So thought that was cool. And then after that, you have The Last Queen. And these are all like standalone books, guys. So I mean, you can read them in a certain order based on like the time period, but they all are standalone books. And then finally here you have this one, I believe has an audiobook, so I'll have to get it to, you know, listen and read to this. So this is about a princess in Russia, I believe. Yeah, so this is the Romanov Empress. All right, so then after that, he decided to write a trilogy that kind of focuses around, I think these are like the spies and all that. Let me make sure here. Just making sure here. Yeah, because yeah, this is a cool series. This is the one about like you know, like royalty and espionage and like spies for like the royal like court or something like that. So this is the Tudor Vendetta. He wrote a trilogy, and then this is the Tudor Conspiracy, and then finally this book, which is the Tudor Secret. He has a new book that's supposed to come out too, so I'll have to see if I, you know, if I like it, I'll get it. Okay. All right, we're doing good. We're doing good. Okay, and then these last three are some of his newer books. So this is actually like historical fiction on Chanel, the fashion designer. Oh, I fucking love her. Guys, if you have the chance, check out the Coco Chanel biopic. It is everything. Like, it's so sad what she had to go through in order to be taken seriously as a designer and stuff, but it's really well done. This one is the Vatican Princess, and this is the one that I'm excited about. This is about the story of Marlene Dietrich, very well, you know, respected actor and everything. But what's really interesting about her too is she's also very well respected in the gay community or in the LGBTQIA community. So I wanted to read some like historical fiction on her. This one's really cool because it has like interviews and stuff in there about her and stuff. So it's called Marlene. So can't wait to read that. So let me see if I can get these to... All right, let's see, will it fit? I think I'm pushing it here. Okay, I know what to do. Okay, so we'll put this one here. And... yes! We have success, y'all. Success. Oh, this looks so beautiful, guys. Look at that. Okay. So now we are getting to that grand finale here. So we're gonna start with the fantasy stuff, and then go from there. So I think what I'm gonna do first is put my series that are loose, and then put my box sets up front, because I know I'm gonna read those first. All right, so the first series, I think everybody has heard of this series. It's right here, and that is Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. I mean, if you're into fantasy, this is quintessential. This is like the foundation right here, okay? So I have The Hobbit. I just got this. This is like the theatrical version of it. So yeah, I was like, oh, I've never actually read The Hobbit, guys. I know it's embarrassing. I'm losing my nerd cred. But yeah, so you got Hobbit. And of course, the book that really started it all for me in regards to like fantasy. Even my parents like these movies too, which I was really surprised because they're usually not into that. But we have Lord of the Rings. See, I like a good villain. That's Sauron, man. He is a bad motherfucker, let me tell you. All right. So I have, and here's the thing, guys. I thought I didn't have it, so I got this newer one. But then I did buy this a while back, so I have a different variation. So that's the movie one, and then this is like the non-movie one. All right, so I think I'm trying to see if it's gonna, if it could fit here. Oh, it does. Okay, cool. Or do I want to, you know, to make it easier on myself here, I think just to keep, see, is it gonna fit? Let's see, it'll fit, it'll fit. Okay, I think I'll just do it like that. Yeah, we'll do it like that. Okay. Put these here. Okay. Now, this book, it gets talked about from time to time, but these are it's so hard, guys, to find a complete set of these that's not expensive. But this is the Book of Lost Tales by J.R.R. Tolkien, and this is book 1. There's a couple of volumes of this book, and what the Book of Lost Tales is, guys, is it's the history of Middle Earth. So before you get to Lord of the Rings and all that, this is like the foundation. So I found this and I was like, oh, I didn't know I bought it. So I was like, cool. All right, so we got that, all the Tolkien good stuff. And now we gonna get to another book series that I really well respect. So let me get that right now. I don't know, it's based off of a popular video game, and it is called The Witcher. You have to say it like that, okay? So these are like this is like the foundation for the series here. This is of course by Andrzej Sapkowski. He is a Polish author, and this is The Last Wish. So I got that. So we're gonna start putting these in the front. So I think what I'll do is that I want to keep these in the right order. Okay, so I'll go backwards here. So you have here Lady of the Lake. So this is the last book. These are so cool. Look at Ciri looking all badass. I fucking love her. All right, so we have that. And then, you know what ended up happening, guys? This was absolutely hilarious. I thought that I didn't have the book, so I ended up buying 2 of the Tower of Swallows. So, you know, just in case if I lose one, I have another one. Kind of pointless, but, you know. So I'll put these in the front. Okay. So then after that, I have the box set here of the next, well, the first 3 books in the series here. So you have Blood of Elves, Time of Contempt, and Baptism of Fire. So it comes in this really nice like sleeve, and then you have the first 3 books here. So let me make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, so these are okay. Perfect. All right, cool. And then this is Sword of Destiny. Oh, hey, we got someone new. What's up? And we have Laura. What's up? And Laura says, that happens to me too. I forget I have a book and buy a duplicate copy. This is why, guys, if you can make a spreadsheet or something or take notes, it's very important, so that way you're not wasting money and buying like doubles. But that always fucking happens to me. It's terrible. Okay, so this is like more tales in the Witcher series here. And then I also, ooh, this one, I love Geralt of Rivia. He is so sexy to me. Maybe it's those eyes, maybe it's the voice or something. It just gets me happy, guys. So this is Season of Storms. Legend is Born. All right. So you have to read these like 3 here, and of course this is like the last wish. So this kind of lays that foundation. So these 3 books kind of get you prepared for the series before you get into the main series here. So make sure I don't trip here. All right. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move it to this side. That makes more sense. Okay, perfect. All right, so now we have another series here. Okay. Oh, we're doing good, guys. And oh, Laura's asking, is there good romance in The Witcher? Look at my face. No, I'm being extra. Guys, The Witcher, the romance is, I mean, okay, so for example, when I was watching, because you can't compare the show to the books, you know, but like when I was watching the TV show, there was like an orgy. Like he's like Geralt is walking to talk to the, you know, to this wizard guy, and there's like a full-blown orgy, like people really get in it. And I was like, and Yennefer is just, you know, sitting there all casual, like, oh hi, and it's like, I'm like, do you see what's going on? You know, so there is a good romance, because at first, like, technically The Witcher, if you think about it, in some ways there is some enemies to lovers, because like Yennefer and Geralt's relationship, it goes in ebbs and flows. Like see, I don't want to spoil it because it's so good, you know, to read, but let's just say that Geralt did something that makes Yennefer like really attracted to him when technically she shouldn't be. A lot of stuff goes down. But yeah, there is some romance in The Witcher, because one of the main story points is the story between Yennefer and Geralt. But also you have the side stories of Ciri and the complicated stuff that she's going through, and you have all the enemies and the external forces. But I wouldn't consider The Witcher a romance book series. I would consider it more of a fantasy series. Is there romance? Yeah, but that's not the whole presence of The Witcher. Most of it is about civil unrest, and you know, in some ways, guys, The Witcher also deals with racism, and some of the issues that we have with like societal imbalances. Because for example, you know, Geralt, he is a Witcher. He has certain genetic mutations that make him, you know, more of a superhuman in a way, and that causes discrimination for him because he's different. Doesn't that sound like racism, right? You know, being treated indifferently because of being who you are. So there's a lot of really deep themes in The Witcher. So yeah, once I start reading these, I'm gonna really be taking my time because there's a lot of complexities. And if you have a chance, guys, play the games. They're long, but they're really apparently really good. I'm playing through the first game right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. The early part of the game is a little boring, but they say that you kind of have to get through the first couple of chapters before things start to really pick up. Here's another series that I wanted to try because for me, I just wanted to know what the big deal was with this. This is just, I don't know, this little series by George R.R. Martin that caused like all the nerds to lose their inhalers for the season finale. But this is, of course, the Game of Thrones series. And I actually have two dances, or a dance with dragons, so that's the last book, because I got this one and I was just like, this looks fucking terrible. So I am going to put this one up front, but then I ended up getting a replacement, so this one looks way better for sure. I'm gonna have to tape up that one. And if you guys have any questions for me, please do not be shy. I am a very transparent person when it comes to like talking about books and all that shit. So if you got any questions and if I can answer it, if not, I'll do my research next time, get that answer for you, you know. I like to be a reference as I can, you know. Then you have the next book here. I'm going backwards here, so this is Feast for Crows. Now some people find Game of Thrones to be problematic because of some of the romances in the book series, you know, and stuff like that. But if you ignore all of that and you just focus on the story itself, it's very, disclaimers, it gets very gory apparently and violent and all that shit. So, but some people, they really respect it and they say it's good. This one is a Storm of Swords. And did you know too, guys, that George R.R. Martin, he also wrote a vampire book? I have it right here. It's called Fever Dream. So I'll have to check that out too once I get to it. Because see, right now my focus is Black Dagger Brotherhood, trying to read through that, and then completing the Vampire Kisses series by Ellen Schreiber. Excellent series so far. Read the first book, gonna get into the second one. You gotta listen to the audiobooks, guys, because they're absolutely hilarious. And the narrator does such a great job. Oh my gosh. And then this one was a little beat up, but I was like, I'll just tape it up, I don't care. So this is the second book, which is A Clash of Kings. So there, and of course we know the book that started it all, A Game of Thrones. Guys, let me tell you, if the Game of Thrones was still going on, I would have loved to audition for it. Guys, can you imagine me as a villain? Oh, it would be excellent, like an evil queen or some shit. Oh, it's like, destroy them, you know, be a good time. So all right, so I know I'm gonna read those, so I got those in the front. All right, so now what we gonna put in the back? Okay, so I have a couple more books that I need to put in the back, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, guys, just to save some time. And then I will, because I'm going to take a quick break here. I'm going to stretch and shit because I got to make sure I got to circulate. You know, every hour I make sure I stretch if I'm doing a longer stream. So I'm going to put those books away and then we will continue here. So give me a moment, guys. Be right back. Oh, before I take my break, guys, I forgot I had these like 3 books here that are history ones, so let me show you those ones before I take my break here. Okay, I forgot I had Maya Rodal. This is Duchess by Design. So this looks like it's like a it's historical romance. Then I have this interesting book about, I got this actually from Dollar Tree, guys. Check out your Dollar Tree if you have one in your area. You will find, guys, incredible deals on books. Like, for example, I found The Chosen by J.R. Ward for $1. Great condition, blew my mind. So this is more about the life and times of John Quincy Adams. So I was like, you know what? Sounds like a good read. So I'm gonna put this, let's see, can I get it to fit though? Actually, you know what? I think it would, let's see here. This one, well, actually, I think, oh, it fits here perfectly. Okay, cool. And then I also have this book that was turned into a movie. They said it's pretty good. It's called The Duchess. So I will put that right there. And then this small one won't fit there. I'll put it right there. Okay, so that's perfect. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here, because I still have some room back here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put these other books downstairs just because they won't fit here. So all right, let me take a quick stretch break, get some water, guys, and then I'll be right back, and we're gonna get into the darker side of romance. All right, be back in a couple minutes here. All right, guys, thanks for waiting. I had to like stretch a little bit, reapply my makeup, you know, important shit. All right, guys, so now we're going to we're getting to the end here, which I'm shocked, guys, because the reason why I'm shocked is just because I thought it was going to take me a lot longer, but it seems like I have less history books than the vampire romance ones. And then what I do is, like, once I finish a book series, I put it on the side, and then I reorganize and like put the older series I've already read in the back and the new ones in the front. So then I have like that kind of rotation kind of thing going on. Okay, so yeah, now guys, we are going from, so I mean, we still have some lighthearted romances in here, but we're gonna start getting dark pretty soon. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with some series that I'm probably not going to read until probably later on. So I'm gonna got like a whole stack here of books. I got these as part of a contemporary romance mystery box, actually, not too long ago. So we're gonna put these in the back because I'll probably do more contemporary stuff, probably reading it like next year, maybe, depending on my reading pace here. Because what I try to do, guys, is I try to read like I cannot talk. I try to read 3 books a month. So 2 are from my bookshelf, and 1 is either like an ebook or a audiobook. But I am obsessed with audiobooks now, guys. So I'm like, I just go through them like crazy. But the one that I was telling you guys about before, that one's like 12 hours, so I'm kind of taking it in little doses. I try to read it before I go to bed, you know. But that one is based on a little bit of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but with like a female character, which is interesting. All right, so let's continue here, guys. These are the ones I'm gonna put in the back. These are like my contemporary romances. I have a couple. I'm not really into contemporary too much. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like some romances in a modern setting, but I tend to like, as you can see, I am very much into the Victorian and the fantasy, the paranormal romance, that kind of thing. So this one, I heard that it was so damn good that I had to get. This one actually has a movie adaptation. I haven't watched it yet, but I need to. But they said it is a tearjerker. So this is by Jojo Moyes, and this is Me Before You. So, see if I can push that back there. And then the sequel is Me After You. So this is a trilogy, and then I didn't even know there was a 3rd book, but this is it. This is one, it's called Still Me. So I was like, oh, let me, they were on clearance, so I figured, I was like, oh, what the hell, let's read those. And let me get this out of the way, keeps tripping on me. All right, so these are my historical romances, even though technically I should put them here, but I just didn't have the space, so I'm gonna put them back in the front. Okay, so I got a pile here. So I have here, this is Susan Krindar, To Tame a Wolf. This one is historical. This one's by Mary Jo Putney, and this is Thunder and Roses. This one is paranormal, but it has fantasy. I think it's more fantasy than paranormal, so I might put it here actually, because it is historical. This is by Thelmy Faulkner, and this is called The Lady and Her Magic. So I'll actually put that one there. This one is historical. This is by Veronica Blake, and this is one of the rare books, guys, that I got that has a the woman has a native or indigenous person as a love interest. So I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. So this one is called Black Horse. So let's see, do I have some room? Yeah, I could throw some of these back here, actually make some more room. So let's see here, put that one. Let's see, will that fit? All right, let's see here. Actually, I could throw. I'm curious now. Let me see what I got back here. Oh no. Okay, so this one, you know, this one I think I'll throw in the back here. Let's see here. Put this right on top there. Okay. So now this one is interesting. This is about, like, it's a world where the women have the control over men, and women like fight in a way to get the best man. So it's called Ritual of Proof. I was like, this sounds really interesting, and it has a setback too. So I was like, oh, all right, try that out. So put that in the back. Okay, so then next, I think to kind of put these in the proper order here, let me get these out of the way here. Okay, so these next books, guys, are interesting too. Sorry I keep like scratching my hair. It's just I'm like sweaty and all that. Oh, it's a mess. Okay, so these are time travel romances. Yeah, I like Outlander, but I'm not really into the time travel thing. So these are some like old school ones here. So we have Yesterday's Flame, like definitely. And then this one is Once a Cavalier. Then I have this like random one. It's called The Night Before Christmas. For me, every day is Halloween, guys. I'm not into the Christmas romances, but you know what the hell, let me get out of my comfort zone and give one a try. All right, so we're gonna put those all back here. All right, they're fitting pretty well, actually. Okay, so from there we're moving on into some more vintage contemporary here. I got these three. So I have here, this is from Emma Darcy, and this is Mischief in Marriage. Then I have another one from Brenda Jackson, and this is One Winter's Night. And then this is a real old one. This is from Billy Green, and this is Time After Time. Look how country that is. Good God. All right, so I got those. Pile them up right there. Oh, my pants keep falling. Jeez. Okay. And then these are more of like my contemporary ones, like more modern time period. These are both African American romances. I don't really have a lot of African American romances, so I'm glad I got these because I'm trying to like diversify. I have this one from Shirley Hailstock, and this one's autographed by her, which I thought was cool. And then I have At First Touch by Tamara Sneed. And this is an interracial one, because you know me, I have a couple interracial romances, but I don't buy the physical book, most because of like space. Mainly I read them on like Kindle Unlimited and stuff. This one is Brenda Jackson, Taking Care of Business, taking care of all that white chocolate right there. Good God. All right, all jokes aside, put these up top. Whoa, I think I dropped it. Let's see. Yeah. All right. Okay, that looks good. All right. Ah. Okay, put this one here. All right, getting to the good stuff here. I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I was like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom now. All right, I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, sorry about that long break here. So I actually have to really go to the bathroom, so I didn't want to keep it on the be right back for too long. So this is what I'll do. I will of course go to the bathroom, do my thing, and then I'll come back. We'll do this in 2 parts. So this will be part 1, and then in part 2 we'll do the wrap up and all of that. So all right, so I'm gonna go to the bathroom once again, and I'll be back in a few moments here, guys, for part 2. But like I always say, remember that reading is Halloween. All right, guys, I'll be back in a few here.